We know that this year hundreds will die, thousands will be seriously injured, yet we are helpless. We can't save our own children. Young drivers are still at risk. Now, we've done countless stories about this. The last time we raised the issue of curfews and passenger restrictions on P-platers, but nothing has been done. The politicians have filed that under too hard. Well, here's another idea, an Australian invention. It's a revolutionary black box camera, which they claim has cut crash rates in America by up to 70%. But it's controversial and frightening, because you're about to see what our children really get up to behind the wheel. This driver is in mortal danger, not wearing a seatbelt and falling asleep at the wheel. He was lucky, he survived. In another car, a taxi driver's life is now being threatened. This extraordinary footage represents a revolution in video surveillance captured from more than 30,000 vehicles. Big Brother has arrived on our roads. It's called DriveCam, an audio-visual black box that captures dangerous and deadly driving with two cameras, pointing forward and back. And software recording vehicle speed and other critical information. It was invented by a young Australian high school dropout, Gary Rayner, who was motivated by the death of Princess Diana.
Nobody knew how it happened, and I thought, that's incredible. I mean, if only there was a camera, there'd be no more mystery about who was implicated and how it happened.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Watch. Oh my God. Holy shit.
How does it actually work?
Well, think of it like a video camera that's always rolling, except that it forgets everything that's more than 15 seconds old. Just is erased. And then if something unusual happens, like you swerve or you put your brakes on hard or you make a sudden manoeuvre.
Whoa!
Gee, okay. Hit the brakes.
And the camera would have been activated?
Oh, it's automatically recording. The camera knows from the G-force sensors that something unusual's happened. And then it goes backwards in time 15 seconds earlier, keeps all of that, keeps going for an extra 15 seconds later, so you have the whole 30 seconds surrounding the event.
In the sue first, ask questions later United States,
Can you please let me out? Please let me out.
commercial fleets claim up to a 70% reduction in accidents.
Look out.
With a camera on board, drivers are less likely to take risks, which leads Gary Rayner to make this optimistic prediction about the group of drivers most at risk on our roads: teenagers.
DriveCam's been proven in the fleet market to reduce accidents by 50 to 70%, which I believe would be a 50% to 70% reduction in deaths as well. Now, if we can duplicate that with teenage drivers, and I absolutely expect that we could be talking about hundreds or even thousands of lives saved per year.
So in effect, he's making a highly controversial claim that these cameras could be as effective a safety device as seatbelts and airbags.
We know, for example, seatbelts reduce the fatalities by up to 60%, and there's been an enormous amount of research in that area. To claim that it's more effective than those two interventions alone, I think is ludicrous.
More of this debate later, but the startling facts are that each year about 350 young Australians aged between 17 and 25 die on our roads. Another 5,500 are seriously injured. During their first few months, new drivers die at 4 times the rate of experienced drivers. Every week, another family has to confront this awful reality. In May, on Queensland's Gold Coast, a car full of 6 teenagers ploughed into an oncoming 4-wheel drive, killing 2 of them. 15-year-old Matt Fraser and 16-year-old Aki Havaz.
She had so much things going for her. Sometimes you wish Wow couldn't have been me, and I'd prefer her to be here.
Do you?
Yeah, I do sometimes. Like, she was just so special to everyone.
I'm just so thankful that I still have like Zoe and Kate here. I don't know, it's just so hard sometimes. You just can't sleep because you just think about it. There's nothing you can do. It's just really, really hard.
Lana, Luke, Kate and Zoe are 4 teenagers struggling to accept life without their best friends.
Just think, nah, I'm a teenager, I'm young, I'm not going to die yet, nothing's going to happen to me. And you just think nothing will ever happen to you until something like this happens. And then you realise, well, young people do die and it just affects everyone.
The crash occurred late at night. The car was overloaded, the driver inexperienced and speeding, and all too typical scenario for kids on our roads. How many here have been involved in any way in a car crash? So we're talking about almost half. How bad was your accident?
It wasn't too bad. I was by myself. I just fell asleep at the wheel, but I was going too fast in the rain, basically.
You were very lucky then.
I was very lucky.
So on Queensland's Gold Coast, 60 Minutes assembled a group of young drivers to trial the camera technology. Matt, what sort of a driver do you think you are?
Typical male driver.
Is that good or bad?
Probably bad actually, because thinks it's fun to speed maybe, I don't know, just do burnouts, just go fast really.
Have you had any accidents?
Yep, 2.
So you nervous about the trial?
Not really. I think it might actually make me drive safer.
40 cameras were installed, giving a bird's eye view of the driving habits of those most at risk, and putting to test the key claim that the camera could be a lifesaver. Who here thinks the camera device will make a big difference to their driving?
No, I reckon it's gonna, it's basically somebody watching you, well, something recording what you're doing, so you're not gonna go fast around corners, you're not gonna do stupid things and burnouts on purpose, you're actually gonna really try.
I think it's kind of a two-edged sword really, because I mean you've got the aspect of, you know, there's always something watching you, but most teenagers love that. You know, there's an audience really, you know, someone's watching me do burnouts, someone's watching me fly around this corner. Whoopee, excellent.
So isn't that dangerous?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Over the past 2 months, the triggered cameras captured these young Australians driving like we've never seen our kids drive before. Saying one thing. Did you learn from them?
Yeah, I've slowed down a lot more now and paying a lot more attention.
Doing another.
Handbraking, the right way. You know it is. You know it is.
Speeding, drag racing, running red lights, disobeying the rules, and making serious mistakes.
You're such an arsehole. You see this? This is a panic button. I'm not laughing. Oh my God.
Placing their own lives and others at risk.
I don't want to die.
Neither do I.
What is it about our young people that makes them more likely to die on our roads?
Purely and simply, a lack of education. We seem to have this mentality, 3 to 5 one-hour lessons is enough to teach them to do the most complex activity they'll undertake for the rest of their life. You obviously feel confident in your ability to throw the car through like that, but you took so many unnecessary risks that if one variable that you didn't anticipate had crept into that, it would have been an accident.
It was driving instructor Gene Corbett's job to counsel the kids on where they went wrong. Cameras revealed many dangerous flaws in their driving, but that's no surprise. Speed and inexperience are the big killers, and it's not as if there aren't any solutions either. Last year we reported how P-plate curfews and passenger restrictions in New Zealand have resulted in a dramatic reduction in the road toll. They've been proposed here for more than 20 years. And experts like Professor Mark Stevenson say these laws, rather than in-car cameras, are the answer.
The research at this stage around the world suggests that, with graduated licensing, where the components of passenger restrictions and night driving restrictions are implemented in that you can achieve up to 30% reduction in serious injuries. Now, that's the best evidence we've got at this stage.
Well, if curfews and passenger restrictions are so successful, why haven't governments introduced them?
It's a moot point. It's, I think, politically unpalatable for a number of the governments. I think probably...
Why? Because young drivers vote too?
Certainly.
So content to lose young lives, but don't want to lose any votes. It's a sad indictment, really, isn't it?
It certainly is.
This is yet another one of those roadside memorials we see all over Australia. And so many of them are dedications to teenagers, just like this one, who have been lost on our roads. And whether cameras are the answer or not is a long way off from being proved. But if nothing else, they reveal just how much our young people are still in harm's way. Just like young Angela running through a stop sign to drag race her boyfriend.
If you saw other drivers driving like this, what would be your perception of their driving?
They're stupid.
Even though you were driving exactly the same way?
Yeah.
And Dean, recklessly speeding down a freeway on-ramp.
There was nowhere to go. One variable introduced to this, you would either run into what was there or you'd hit the other side wall. The point that I'm trying to make is you've set yourself up in such a way and made decisions that mean the car's at the limit of adhesion with your brother in the passenger seat.
You've learned from it not to put your younger brother's life at risk?
That was a once-off, and I stand by the fact that he wasn't at risk.
The driving instructor thought he was.
Of course he did. He thinks I'm always at risk. My brother, he was enjoying it. I had control of the car despite what was being said.
So of the 40 young drivers with cameras in their cars, 20 you gave tuition to, 20 you didn't. What was the outcome?
The drivers that received the tuition would have dropped their event triggers by about 80%. So drivers that were coming in with 20, 25 events per week were getting down to 1 to 2. There was only 2 drivers in the group that were receiving tuition that didn't have a demonstrated improvement.
If anything, what this experiment has revealed is that often without realising it, young Australians are a danger to themselves and others on the road.
Jesus, that's some ways up.
Some tough lessons have been learned.
Hold on, I gotta turn the corner, wait a second. I can't believe I did that. I was such a dickhead.
And why did you need the video to tell you how bad you were?
I don't know, I guess you just don't think about it, and you need something like that to make you realise how important, the stupid things you do, how they can actually affect your life.
Or take it.
Yeah.
Just think we'll never see our kids and we can always have to grow up together.
We always had dreams
bridesmaids
they were going to be
of
each
each
other's
other.
bridesmaids and
travelling around the world together.
Yeah.
But you're all convinced that if any good has come out of this, you'll all be better drivers.
Yeah. Definitely. More aware of everything.
Yeah. There's always a consequence.
How do you mean?
With everyone's actions, it can always end up someone hurting someone or losing a really good friend. It can change the world, basically, in your eyes.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minutes, segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.